All right, what is up, everyone? Let's talk Lions football. And we finally got the good news we've been all waiting for. We've been wondering this big question about the offense. The defense has been dominating in training camp, and we finally got to go against another team. We had our first joint practice yesterday against the Miami Dolphins. The second one will be today. And the Detroit Lions spent the first day absolutely dominating on both sides of the ball. And here's the deal. No, I wasn't there. No, we couldn't see it. But I can tell you what I do know. I know that there are a lot of beat writers for this team, and there are a lot of beat writers on the other side for the Miami Dolphins, and every single one of them, that's 100% word, every single one of them is saying the exact same thing. So we're going to jump into some of those, and we're going to go into the most trusted source that I have to talk about exactly what that practice looked like. But before I said that, or before I say all that, let me ask you a question. When you hear in our first joint practice that the defense continued to dominate and the offense also was extremely dominant, does it increase your confidence in our new offensive coordinator, Johnny Moe? Does it increase your confidence in John Morton? And the reason I'm asking you this question is I was a big believer in John Morton and the fact that it's still Campbell's offense. All that kind of stuff is still here, so I'm not worried about it. Like, that was my thing. However, in going through the first 2-3 weeks of camp, all right, we're almost at 4 now, in watching the preseason games, not starters, yeah, there was some worry, all right? There was a little bit of worry. Even I, the biggest supporter, the guy who's the most confident in this, started to be like, wait a minute. I know we come off to slow starts, usually offensively, and things like that. I have been 180'd on this thing. It is so good to hear this. And I understand the Dolphins aren't the best team in the league or anything like that, but they've been a decent team consistently. So let's see what some of the descriptions of all of our beat writers are. This is on X. And please follow us on X, Sports Talk Detroit. Go check us out. Why not? All right, but here's what people are saying. Colton Pouncey, Dolphins offense ran just 16 plays or so in the red zone versus the Lions and didn't score until the final play. Miami's first-team offense didn't score in the 7 to 8 plays versus Detroit's first-team defense. It was ugly. Lions D having a day. Nolan Bianchi, Lions offense might be having their best practice of camp so far. Run game is better than it's looked all summer, and Jared Goff is absolutely dialed. He also said it is electric in Allen Park today. Isaac Tesla gets his helmet knocked off while blocking Jack Jones and still goes face-to-face with him after the play call. Crowd loves it. Eric Woodyard, Amon-Ra St. Brown is unstoppable today. Justin Rogers, going off crowd reaction alone, Lions offense is having a party and the Dolphins weren't invited. I'm watching Detroit's defense where the first team pitched a 9-snap shutout in the red zone. I'm pretty happy about this. Colton Pouncey made it very, very clear. He said it is the most lopsided joint practices, or he said it is the most lopsided joint practice he has ever seen. Now, it's not just Lions people that are saying this. When you type in on Google, on Twitter, or whatever, Detroit Lions joint practice, it's all the Miami Dolphins beat writers saying that the Dolphins got smacked. All right, so we don't get to see the preseason starters versus starters like we used to. This is something that is gone by the wayside. Don't get used to it. It's not happening. But what we now have is joint practices. The Lions got on this bandwagon a few years ago because you can have simulated situations in practice. And even though you can run it full game-like scenarios, you can have the physicality, it can be a little safer and you don't have to worry about so many things. So, yes, it is a good thing for the team to have this. All right? They've said that the offense is back to its old ways. I'll give you some of the highlights of this article. Jared Goff and company looks as sharp as they have the last 2+ seasons. But there have also been moments when the defense has looked decidedly better. This is fantastic. All right? This is what we were looking for going in to the joint practice. Dan Campbell and his staff were looking for a clear picture on multiple fronts. First, is Detroit's defense as good as it looks so far? Second, were the previous offensive issues more of a result of the dysfunction or more of a sign of how well the defense played? Now, here's what he said. After 2 hours on the grass, the results were clear. Yes, the defense looks legit, and yes, the offense still looks fine. You see some of the highlights. You see the one-handed catch by Amon-Ra St. Brown in the back. You see our receivers just getting ridiculous separation against their corners. It was something that you absolutely wanted to see and something that I could not be more excited to see. And I sit here and I'm like, okay. Like, the offense looks great. And that's exactly what I wanted to see. But then I was quickly reminded that I always thought the offense was going to be great. Like, am I worried about losing Frank Ragnow in the middle? Yes. But then I read things like this. Detroit's first-team offensive line of Penei Sewell, Tate Ratledge, Graham Glasgow, Christian Mahogany, and Taylor Decker had its way all day. And it was almost effortless for them, it seemed out there. And I'm excited about the offense, but I'm just as excited to hear that the defense did the exact same thing. I do know that this Detroit Lions team has traditionally had slower starts on offense. And man, oh man, how cool would it be if John Morton had this offense running and clicking from day one? Because that's something Ben Johnson never did. Go back, watch the tape. The first 2, 3 games, 4 games every season, it's like, come on, it's okay, but it's not there. And then boom, it hits. If John Morton can get it rolling right away, that'll be a big sign. But if this defense is back, or not back, but if this defense can be a top 10, top 5 defense in the NFL, which they have the talent to do, even with injuries, with Hutch coming back, it's what they were before he got hurt, and even for a while after he got hurt. They were number 6 defense in the league for like the first 11 weeks or something like that. If this defense can be dominant, it can allow the offense time to gel. It can allow the offense time to come together under a new coordinator from outside of Allen Park, outside of Detroit. Now, I know he was there back in 2022. I get that, right? But maybe it'll take a second more. This team is something to absolutely get excited about. I'm excited to watch them on Saturday. I'm excited to see what Kyle Allen can do, because I think that will show us what the offenses can continue to do. When watching Kyle Allen, you're watching an offense run more like Jared Goff would run an offense. I'm not saying he's Jared Goff, please. But you're seeing an offense that is operating on time, hitting the reads he's supposed to read, going through his progressions quickly. I want to have a game from Kyle Allen where he plays an entire half as the starter without a turnover. That's what I want to see. But anyways, we'll talk about that as it gets closer. We'll talk about the game after the game. I'm sure I'll record a video later in the day, Saturday, and we'll kind of go from there. But thanks for watching. Wow, this is good news. Can't wait to see. By the time you're seeing this, we'll have had a second practice in Allen Park, and can't wait to see what that looks like as well. All right, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe. See you on the next one.